Hi, welcome to ArtStudio Getting Started. You want to start by opening your ArtStudio app. Mine is in the top row here. I'm going to click on it. And this is what it's looking like when I click on it. I already have this image, and actually I'm going to be recreating this image for you and showing you how I did it. And that is going to be the getting started tutorial, and then I'll do some more tutorials that will give you an idea of some extra stuff that you can play with. All right, so to start off, I actually want to start a new image, okay? So I am going to go to File. This is on the top bar in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to click on New. Now, my image that I already have on here is saved, so it's not asking me to save it again. If you already have an image on yours, it might ask you to save it. If you want to save it, save it. If you don't have to. All right. You always want to see in this, under New Image, in this upper bar, you want to see iPad with Retina, okay? That is what we're going to use because the width and height are nice and big. We want to have nice large image, and this seems to work fairly well for our purposes. I usually start with a white background, but you can try other ones if you want to. For the first one, maybe start with white, and then you hit Create. Okay, now the first thing that I'm going to do here is use two fingers to pinch my screen so that I can see the edges of my document, or my canvas, I might say. So when it's all the way out like this, it's hard to know where your image is. So every now and then you want to pinch it so that you can see what's going on with the edges. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to do is to import a photograph. So I'm going to hit File. Now this is really important. Always, I'm serious, always use import ... Okay? Don't go right to import from photos. All right? Go to the import ... first. Then you want to choose Insert as a Layer. And then you can go Import from Photos. So I'm going to take a look at my selfies because I'm going to use this one. And there is my image. Okay. So now the first thing I want to do is get this image so that it's as large as I want it to be. So in order to do that, we need to learn a little bit about layers, okay? So the layers are on the bottom left-hand side, and it looks like a little stack of paper. And you can see now the box is kind of pointing to the layers. So now you can see I have two layers. I have the layer I started with, which is that initial white background. And then I have a layer on top of it, which is my photograph that I just brought in. Now, my photograph is on a transparent layer. So the photograph isn't transparent, but you can see that we're seeing the white through that second layer. Okay, and we can tell that because of the little gray grid that's around my photograph. So if there's a blue box around the picture in your layer, that is the current layer. And I want to make a change to the current layer. And so I'm going to keep that blue box around that layer. If I wanted to make a change to the bottom layer, the white layer, I would click on it so that the blue box is around that one. Okay, I'm going to click it back because I want to make a change to the photograph layer. So now I'm just going to click in the space outside the box to get out of the layers section. And I'm going to go to Edit. Edit is right next to File in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm going to go all the way down, almost all the way down to Transform Layer. And once I hit Transform Layer, I have several different options. I almost always just choose Move, Scale, and Rotate. It allows me to do all three with one finger or two fingers, and it's really, really helpful. So I'm just going to go right to Move, Scale, and Rotate. So one finger, it says right on here, one finger I can move, okay, and it will stay in, it won't rotate. With two fingers, I can make it larger, I can make it smaller, and I can rotate it in any direction that I want with two fingers. Now, I want it to stay pretty straight, so I don't really want to rotate it. And I want it to be pretty large on the page. And I don't really want much background. There's only going to be a little bit of background. Okay. And then I'm going to hit Apply. Okay, so now that's my image. My next step is going to be to erase the background. So for this, we're going to be looking at the left-hand toolbar, and the little kind of trapezoidal, parallelogram is the eraser. If I tap on it once, it's just ready to erase. If I tap on it twice, I can see what it's going to actually look like. So for this, I want it to be fairly small because I want to do this pretty carefully. So I'm going to make it a size 4. Okay. And I can choose all different kinds. I'm going to keep it on that first one, size 4. All right. Now, I can now change the size here too. I can change it down here to be whatever size I want. So I can bring it back to 4. All right. Now I'm going to use 2 fingers to pinch this up so that I can get right up close. And actually, I can make it bigger than 4. So I'm going to make this, let's go to 8. So I'm going to go right up next to my image that I want to keep and get rid of the background. And I'm going to keep it fairly small at the beginning and just go around. I'm using my finger. You can absolutely use you can do the same exact thing with a stylus. And you can use any stylus that you want. I'm just kind of simplifying the hair. But I really like my finger because I can use so many different things with it. And it feels very seamless to me to use my finger. Partly because I can go in and out using 2 fingers like this really easily. And if I'm using a stylus, I have to stop, put down the stylus, and and make it larger or smaller or move it. Each time I'm moving it, I am using 2 fingers. I'm just going to kind of get rid of a bit of my sideburn here. All right, I'm almost all the way around with my small line. And now I'm going to use, I'm kind of upside down now. Here, I'll bring it back. Now I'm going to make it larger and start to get rid of the rest of the background. With it larger, I can get up close and maybe make it even a little bit larger. There we go. So you can see that by doing the fine line around first, I'm able to get up close without messing up. And I can do a very detailed, I can get even smaller and more detailed if I wanted to, I could. I'm not going to this time. So erasing really helps to make your images in ArtStudio and your layers work so well. So erasing the background on things, I'll show you, it's going to be very, very powerful what you can do with it. Get right up there, and now it's finished. Okay. So now I can do something interesting with the background. If I now want to change the background, I'm going to make sure that in layers, I'm going to make sure that that blue line is around my white layer. All right, and I'm going to use, I'm going to put this up in here. I'm going to use the paint bucket and just change the whole background. And right now I'm scrolling through the colors on the right hand side. I'm going to choose this color. That's close to the color that I chose. And I just tapped on, I chose the color down here, and then I tapped on it up here, and you can see where the box is pointing to. That's where you want to tap to get this box. And the box will allow you to change the colors. So I can move one of these toggles down here to move this. And I think, and I could go up and down here. I could change the color itself, but actually I do like that color. I just want it to be not quite so bright. So I'm gonna go, I think I'll go here. Okay, so now I have my paint bucket and I've got my color. And I'm just going to tap the white, and it turns the whole background the color that I want it. All right, so now I need to bring in some more images, some more layers. So I'm going to start, I'm going to go back to File, Import ... It's really, really important that you do Import ... Don't do anything else, okay? Import ... Insert as a layer, import from photos. All right, For this one, I'm going to go to all photos, and the ones that I want are up in here. Yeah, so I'm going to start with, I'm pretty sure that I used this Facebook. Let's see. Okay. So if I go to my layers, so I've got my Facebook here, and I actually want it to go over both layers. So I'm going to kind of hold it down and then just drag it above like that. All right. Now, I'm going to stay in layers, and you see up above where it says 100%? That is the toggle for making things more and less opaque. So I want my Facebook logo to be more transparent. So that is looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to click back out here, and then I'm going to go back to Edit, Transform Layer, and Move, Scale, and Rotate. Now I want to place that Facebook F in front of my face. I want to kind of have the cross framing my face, framing my eyes. And I want the slant on the right-hand side to kind of mimic my hair. I want to bring it this way a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Get the curve of it. All right, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to hit apply. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my other logos. So I'm going to go import ... insert layer, import from photos, all photos, and then I'm going to go back up here to my logos. I'm going to bring in my New York Times logo. I'm not sure if that's the right one. But let's see. Let's make that bigger. Let's make it much more transparent. Okay. I don't think that's the one I want. So here's a good opportunity to do undo. Undo is the arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. The left arrow is undo and the right one is redo. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Let me see. I think that import ... insert as a layer, import from photos. All photos. Let's see. I think I have a better New York Times. Maybe I don't. That must be the one that I used. Unless there's... No, I don't think there's another one. So let's give it another try. I'm just not very happy with it. I don't know why. All right. Transform layer, move, scale, and rotate. I'm going to place it here and apply, and then I'm going to make it more transparent. And then I'm going to move it around again. Get it right where I want it. I want the little swoop on the T from the to kind of be at the end of my nose. I want it to kind of hit right at the end of my nose. because I think that's going to look kind of interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's not working the way I did it last time, but that's okay. We're going to just keep on going. All right. Now I'm going to go to File, Import, Insert as a Layer, Import from Photos, and I'm going to go to All Photos and grab my CNN logo. Okay. And I'm going to Transform Layer, Move, Scale, Rotate. And I want CNN to be up in here. Apply. I'm going to go to my layers and make that significantly more transparent. And now I'm going to go for my NPR logo. And I'm going to transform the layer. I'm going to move it into this area here. Everything's a little different than when I had it before, but that's okay. Apply, and then make it transparent. Oh, I'm not really sure because I can't see. That's actually not bad. All right. So there are a bunch of layers. So let's take a look at all my layers. Look at that. You can actually see where each layer goes in relationship. So I can actually move them around. Watch what happens if I put that in front. Totally different, right? As I move it, different things happen. And I'm not really crazy about my New York Times this time, so I'm going to get rid of it. All I need to do to get rid of it temporarily is, you see the little, if you look at the layer that's the New York Times, I can click on the little eyeball to the left of it and wink it out of existence. All right. Now, I want to do some more adding. So I'm going to add another image, and in all photos, this is going to be my coronavirus image. And I'm going to transform layer, move, scale, rotate, get it a little bit smaller, and apply. And then I want to erase the background of this. And I'm going to do kind of a sloppy job of it this time because I don't want to take too much time. So I'm going to use the big eraser. Get rid of all this green. And there's my coronavirus eyeball. Oop. I just undid because I accidentally erased more than I wanted to. So I'm going to erase away all that green. Okay, so now that layer I'm going to transform and move, scale, and rotate, and I'm going to have it take up part of my eyeball here, as if my eyes are just becoming becoming the coronavirus. And I'm going to apply that. All right, let's go back into layers. Now, I want to use this same exact one for the other eyeball. So all I need to do is make sure that the blue line is around the box for my little coronavirus. And I'm going to, at the bottom of the box, of the dialog box, there's a little plus with 2 squares. I'm going to hit on that. And look at that, it makes another copy of it for me. And the copy now has the blue line around it. So I can go now to Edit, Transform Layer, Move Scale Rotate, and then bring that copy over to this and apply. All right, so now I'm going to go back to layers. I'm going to make these just a little bit transparent. So that they're not so intensely green. So this is my image so far. I got rid of the New York Times. That's okay. I'm not crazy about it right now, but this is working fine for now. So now I want to add a little bit of color into my face. So I'm going to go back to layers, and I'm going to have the blue box around my my photograph. And now I'm going to go to my spray paint. That's spray paint. And with spray paint, for me, I really like it to be very, very misty. And you can change that by changing opaque or opacity. Okay, so that's transparent or opaque. You can also do it by changing the spacing. Making more spacing makes it more transparent. And then I can also change the size. I can make it big or small. I want it kind of medium-ish. All right, so this is kind of a nice way to add color. And what's going to happen here is that I'm actually going to be painting on the photographic layer. I can see all of the other layers on top of it, but my finger is actually going to just be touching the photograph layer. I'm going to use a blue for this because I want a bit of a blue sense to happen in the hair. So I'm adding some blue into the hair. It's not making the CNN a different color because CNN is over. I'm going to make it a little bit more transparent now. And I'm going to add some blue into the chin area and up into this area too, just to give it a little bit. And I'm going to make my dress blue too. All right, so that's pretty good. Maybe just a little bit, just a hint of blue for the eyebrows. Okay, now I'm going to change the color. What did I want? I want just the fiery red. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller now. And I'm going to just give the lips just a hint more red, just to add a little bit more color into the lips. All right, so that's pretty similar to my original image. Now, I'm going to show you what happens if you don't do import ... Here's what happens. If you go to File and you go right to Import from Photos, you go to, let's say I want to change to this. Okay, there it is. Look at that. It just covered up everything. If I go to layers, all my layers are gone. All of that work I just showed you, absolutely gone. Oh my goodness. That is shocking. If I go to undo, it doesn't undo. Oh my goodness. That, my friends, is why you never go File and directly to import from Photos. It's awful. It gets rid of all your hard work. So, if you remember nothing else from this tutorial, remember, if you are importing a file or an image from your photos, you must go to import ... first, insert as a layer, and then import from photos. Please make sure you do that. All right. I'm going to go to File now and hit Open, and I'm going to open up my original piece. So this is the more fancy piece that I just created. So I hope this tutorial has helped, and I hope you have fun with ArtStudio. I am going to be doing more tutorials to show you how all kinds of different functions work. For now, feel free to explore it on your own. Thank you very much. Bye.